You have just entered a world governed by personal accountability, where being a man is not an excuse for bad behavior. Prepare to have your thoughts provoked, your ego challenged, and your character tested. It's time for Being a Better Man. Here's your host and fellow man in the trenches, Alf Herigstad.
I host the Being a Better Man podcast. We moved here in 1969 when I was 7, and just grew up here on our little family farm with my brother and my sister, my mom and dad. Funny enough, we all still live on the property. Altogether, I have 8.5 grandchildren. I'm never really satisfied unless I have something to work towards, something new to do, something new to learn. About 1.5 years ago, I didn't even know what a podcast was, and I had this truck driving job where I would go to the other side of the state, and my wife would go with me on occasion. And she was like, let's listen to podcasts. Pod what? And so she hooked it up in the truck and we're listening to podcasts. And I'm like, wow, this is really cool. This is really a way to impact people and convey a message. And I started thinking, I think I'd kind of like to do a podcast. I started really noticing the young men. There's a lot of guys that unfortunately grew up missing something, and that is a mentor, a guide, a father. My dad, he was just a fantastic mentor and guide for me, growing up and becoming a man. He was always there when I needed him. My being a better man mentality, I think, is just a result of being my father's son. I always figured, actually, that if I can just be half the man he is, I'll still be better than most. I'm not trying to tell guys to go be a great man, go be even a good man. I'm not a great man, I'm not even a good man, I'm just a better man than I was yesterday. Anybody can be a great person when everything's going great. That's easy. But when you're facing adversity, that's when you really have an opportunity to be better, to be a better person, a better woman.
There's a lot of people out there that don't achieve adulthood, even all the way up into, their 70s or 80s. And so he's had so many experiences that he can actually apply those experiences to being a better man. Being in a relationship with someone who's emotionally mature is the best thing in the world.
As a man, we have a responsibility because somebody's always watching us. You're an example and a responsibility of what it is to be a man. That's so important. And if you focus first on the inside, on your character, the people around you will notice that. And eventually, all the other things will fall into place.